Hi everybody, Army P here for eXplorminate.net. Welcome to our continuation Let's Play of Stellaris with the new expansion Utopia installed. Now if you remember from last episode, I was going to show you all the goodies that you can get from this mysterious fortress itself. So what we did was we destroyed the actual fortress defenses in our last episode, and I brought my scientists right to the location. So spoiler warning, this DLC, Leviathan is the DLC that the Enigmatic Fortress has been introduced on. So hopefully it's been enough time, 6 months or more, and you won't mind the spoilers. But if you want to figure out the fortress on your by yourself and all of the details, by all means, skip ahead, because you're about to get all the goodies. Okay, so we've got our scientists there. You can see here now that we've destroyed the defenses, it's asking us to figure out a way to actually crack open the actual Enigmatic Fortress itself. We're going to take the low power surge option, which needs a scientist. So we're going to research that, and it should be good to go within 30 days. Meantime, we're just going to make sure that we're not getting any tappies from any saucy bad guys. Okay. So it says Fortress adjusting energy supply. Having stabilized the ship's connection to the power system to the fortress, we were able to decide how much energy to supply the very first surge. Since the technology is unfamiliar, the exact amount is difficult to determine. 2 estimates are available. So what you're going to do here is you're going to choose the low power estimate. Seems like a misdirect for sure. The higher one will end up being, I believe it will end up causing damage or certain things to be unlocked, or potentially the scientist to die on it. I'm not 100% sure. I got from point A to point B on this I think my third try. And in doing so, I just always pick that one instead of figuring out all the available options. So, I digress. Fortress, low power estimate. The airlock opened. At first, the amount of energy supplied to the fortress seemed too small to make a difference. Then, the area surrounding the airlock slowly started to show signs of functioning. With some mechanical trick work and guessing, the team accessed the controls and managed to open the airlock itself. Although not the cleanest docking procedure, we are now inside of the fortress. Let's just hope that we can also get him out. Okay, from here... Okay, it pretty much did it automatically, so we can go and continue on with it. So, the away team has found... the away team find their way into a blocked... the away team find their way blocked by a massive bulkhead. The team report that there is a recessed alcove to their right housing a pedestal and a contraption wrought with the same black metal that of the fortress itself. They believe this device is key to opening the bulkhead. The leader of the explorers describes it as an upright pole spaced exquisitely across the top of the pedestal, with 3 rings, metal tori, and varying sizes placed around the leftmost pole, and the smallest at the top, and the largest at the bottom. Okay, so what we're going to do here, in this particular case, is we are going to choose to rearrange the metal tori on the poles. Don't ask me what all these other options do. I know one of them ends it completely, so the fortress ends up becoming active again. The other 2, I am not certain. But for all intents and purposes, for all the goodies that we want to acquire, we're going to rearrange the metal tories on the poles. The fortress, tower rebuilt. After the course of the action was announced, a moment of silence followed, then vague scraping noises as the team attempted to carry out their plan. A splashing sound so loud at first you thought that the team was swatted like a small insect, followed by cheers from the team as they reported that the passage had been opened. The bulkhead appears to have rapidly transformed into an unpleasant smelling liquid reminiscent of purple quicksilver. Combined with the relatively mundane puzzle mechanism, you have a feeling the team have been victims of an elaborate prank set up for a millennia ago. We can laugh about it now, at least. Okay, so the next port should trigger. There we go. And the fortress, the pivot. The team reports they have reached what appears to be the geometric center of the actual fortress itself. Even with the eternal geometry leaves some doubt of the concept of center. All relative. What is indisputably relevant is the fortress is now powered, which makes the team's new discovery even more interesting. Dark matter is funneling around the fortress and then back into the core like a cardiovascular system. Although the flow has stopped, the team have found a way to get it started again. We can take all the time that we need to study it, but it needs to be stopped now. Okay, so this will offer something in our situation. So, we have three different options. We can do the home survey research, use force as available, or research the black hole. And this is what I said about a level 5 scientist. Now, you actually can do this with the home system research, but I actually think that it's faster in terms of the turnaround to actually do it this way. So we're just going to track on the map and see where this black hole is. Oh, it happens to be the black hole that's in the system right next to it. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our scientist and we're going to study this black hole in hopes of understanding some of the mysteries behind this strange black goo. In the meantime, of course, trade deals all around. Let's see if we're just going to renew some of these bad boys. Strategic resources. Oh, apparently it doesn't want that anymore. That's okay. Really don't want habitability. Oh, my admiral has died. What was his name, by the way? He did a good job. Admiral Grum. Grum? Gurum. He died at the age of 83. His service to the Army of the Republic is noted as being awesome. In this particular case, because I'm actually not fighting anybody, I don't have any particular enemies, everybody seems that the galaxy in general is pretty peaceful. I'm going to take ship upkeep minus 10% and hire Admiral Campramar. And then we will continue on, of course, with building our fleet, because it looks like we've got actually quite the amount of choices right when it comes to our money options. Why not? We'll do one destroyer, we'll do 2 cruisers, and we're going to do 1 battleship. That'll get us going. Okay, in the meantime, we're going to be going to Gaping Maw. Our scientists are going to be exploring this. And you can see here the reason why I wanted to have the scientists quickly there, because they're only giving you basically a year to get to the system. So if you were playing a large map, that actually could be pretty energy credits. Yeah, sure, why not? That could be a bit of a difficult task. So our science ship that looks like a giant, plant of some type. Done. The fortress, the heart of dark matter. Examining the black hole with new knowledge of how dark matter is used in the ancient fortress, we have discovered that its builders must have learned many ways of manipulating it and funneling techniques from the black holes themselves. Seeing them outside of a strict system they created allowed the team to explorers to change the connections around to the core safely, stopping the repowering process. While this process alone has taught us much about the physics of black holes, it's nothing compared to the treasures that we now own now that the fortress is completely shut down. Now, first off, I'm just going to push this off to the side. so you guys can see the pop-up window in all its glory. First off, the engineering, we've got 4,000, physics 3,200, and society 2,000. That's roughly a year or 10 months supply of research bonus that we gained. But the real goodies, oh yes, the real goodies, is we get enigmatic deflectors, power generators, encoders, decoders, and distribution fields. Now these are all of the absolute best modules that you can put onto your ships, and modules that you can end up putting to your fortresses for defense. They are absolutely the without a shadow of doubt, the absolute best ones you have to do. Unfortunately, they don't give it to you in one shot. They just give you the ability to actually research it with a bonus of 30%. So that is awesome. So just to kind of recap, the deflectors are the best shields in the entire game. So once you've researched them, they'll be able to equip them onto your ships, and they'll be the best shields. The enigmatic power generation are the best generators of power for your ships themselves. The encoder and decoder are, I believe, has been a while because I typically don't use them because I don't build a lot of fortresses in the games, but I do believe they are modules or additions that you can use for your defensive stations. One I do believe gives you better tracking, and the other one gives you a modifier, a debuffer for I'm struggling here, but either way it's a debuff for the ships that get caught inside of the ring that you have in and around your space station itself. And the distribution field, maybe that's it, maybe that was the one. Either way, I think 3 of them. The bomb dollar is that they're awesome, and they're the best in the game. You can't get any better than that. So that is great. So what we're going to do is we're probably going to send our science ship back to Alberta Prime. We're going to consolidate our forces. That's it. So that is the fortress itself. It actually maintains there, and I can build a world there if I want, although 15's not the best. There's 11. Kind of looking at colonization. I typically try not to colonize anything. 12's fine. And like this is something that we can definitely do. But anyway, the whole point of this was to show you guys the Enigmatic Fortress and its awesomeness. 40%, what are you talking about? 80% for whom? Oh, the Velmax, that's why. That will hold off for a minute there. It's always actually good to keep your colonization down a little bit if your economy's doing just good, because it's always a hindrance onto your research, and that's kind of what we want to do right now. We want... You can see here that I've got 0 point power, 3 months left. As soon as I research this, I'm going to be able to research one of those bonuses that I ended up getting for the actual fortress itself. Okay, just doing it. Perfect. Okay, so that's a fortress, everybody. You know that... hopefully I didn't spoil anything for anybody, but the bottom dollar is, if you didn't know, you should by now. But either way, this will give you the best bonuses, and having it having that research tech available for before the endgame crisis occurs or a monster battle. Oh, wait a second. Okay, we're gonna go back just a second here. If you remember from last episode, we built the Psycorps, and I thought that we could make... Where's our armies? Assault army. Oh, okay, so we have to build that and research telepathy. Well, you look at that. Now we get the psionic army. Well, I guess we'll choose that. I actually think that we need that for the next ascension perk. Let's see what the next one... Flesh is weak. No, that's not the one we want. Are we Transcendence? Well, either way, it's probably one of the better army units that we can actually use, so that's perfect.
Construction complete.
One of our leaders have died, and you can see here that I am absolutely swimming in influence. So we'll pick a governor. We've got three left. Yeah, we can always do that. We're going to recruit Governor Keeb. Oh no, sorry, Governor Elemando. He's going to give us some bonuses to our research. Okay, now we got our 0-point reactor. Ooh, didn't expect that. Why do I have jump drive available? Oh, I know why we have jump drive available. The reason we have jump drive available is because when I was off camera, I destroyed the dimensional monster there. I can't quite remember his name offhand, but he gives me a huge bonus to my research for physics, I do believe, and he gives me the ability to do jump drive. And I decided not to do it because I don't want the unbidden. I'd actually like the swarm for this particular game. But you can see here I have a lot of options, which includes neutronium extraction, plus 20% armor, which is massive. But that's nothing compared to what we got here. So these are the bonuses that I was talking about earlier. Okay, so it does turn out that I was right. We're going to go through these one by one. So these are the different enigmatic deflectors. So you can see here the deflector gives us at a large station 600 hit points and a power generation of 8.6. Now, if you just want to take a quick gander here at the best that I have available to me, you can see that this level 4 is actually only 280 and a shield generation per month of 8 or 6.6. So a massive increase. Shield power core generators, I can generate 140, and the 0 point is what I just researched, which is the actual best one in the game outside of these bonus, is 120. So decent size bonus there as well. Now the enigmatic encoder is an accessory that you can put onto your ships if you need be. It will give you a chance to evade +6, great for corvettes. The enigmatic decoder is tracking +3, chance to hit +3, great for destroyers, great for cruisers, great for your battleships. And then the enigmatic distribution field, and that was the one I was thinking about, and this is a debuff that you give to your fortresses, which will be a monthly shield generation -10% and firing rate -20%. So especially great if you can get them trapped into and ensnaring them, knowing that their firing rate's down 20%. So all of these goodies are good to go. Because I just got 0 point, it's not a massive deal. I am going to pick the deflector option at 51 months. You can see here I've already gotten 31%. Perfect. So I've got 11,000. Curator insights, still good. I'm going to convert a little bit into, with my trader, to minerals. Top up. Get a couple more battleships and cruisers. Cruisers end up being kind of the ship that soaks the most damage. So Corvette's doing here. Got a proton torpedoes level. Oh, I got level 3 available. Well, you look at that. Start to get a little bit lazy, eh? So just your general basic upgrades here. So I got my 0 point reactor. I typically will max those out, see if I can't get, I can't, which is perfect. So you can see there what I did was by putting the new 0 point reactor down, I was able to free up one spot that I'm going to put armor on. I don't believe I have gauze here. Get level 3. And we're going to basically change to the higher output. And again, you can see here I've actually, the energy ends up freeing me up a spot so I can get more power or more armor. Kind of like mixing everything up, to tell you the honest truth. With different types of weapon systems. Wow. And the reason I do that is because you never know what you're going to fight. With a mix of different weapon systems, there's a lot of things you can do to, at the very least, utilize as much as you possibly can, just in case you don't know what you're going to be fighting. A good mix is always a good thing to have. 60, 40. That will be where we are at. Good. See how much it costs to upgrade. 2,800. Sweet mother of pearl. Okay, we'll put that on hot standby. Okay, so as it stands right now, we are researching and building up our fleet. Again, it's going to be a little bit of a slag, I tell you the honest truth, because as it stands right now, we really don't have anybody in the game that actually wants to oppose us. Right now, we're just kind of you know, doing our thing. I might just replace this with Unity, sure. My Unity to go up because it stands right now. It's going to take us a long time to get to the very end of the actual tech tree. It's one thing that you definitely can't neglect if you intend to play this game and unlock all of the Ascension perks. You can see here that I've got 4 unlocked and 4 that need to be locked. And I've got 3 different tech trees. Once completed one of the actual tech trees, subcategories, Prosperity, Discovery, and Harmony are the ones that I have left. It unlocks each one, but if each one of these are taking me 5 years, I mean, I won't get this unlocked until close to 2400, which is a bit late. Definitely a balancing act, I find. The balancing act is between making sure that your economy is good to go, making sure your research is good to go, and then of maximizing unity. And because we've got our ally here, the Grolferp Interstellar Empire, he's happy with us because we've gone to war with him, even though he is a slaver. And the only real threat that we have is the Order of Durik, and you can see here that we've actually we've got a bigger fleet, and we've got a bigger fleet at 40,000, which is not that much for this point in the game. I do tend to play a little bit on a harder difficulty level. If I was at 40,000 at this point in the game, I'd be a little bit chicky on myself, but we are playing on the whole idea of us playing peaceful is that we pay attention to these, to the people that help us. We pay attention to the civic rights of our people. It doesn't always have to be just about kicking tail and taking names, except for the Gagan. Hate those guys. Okay, perfect. We've got our tradition tree up, and what we're gonna do, boy oh boy oh boy, what are we gonna do? Now, this is interesting. Typically what you're gonna do is you're gonna play this game a couple times, and you're gonna try to figure out, what makes most sense to you in picking 2 trees. The 2 trees that seem to make the most sense to me to starting off right off the beginning they're all situational. That being said, Discovery is a strong one to take because if you can get Planetary Survey Corps, the reason that's big to get that if you can early is that you will gain research points equal to 1/3 of your monthly gain while surveying planets. What that translates into basically is that, let's say that I have a monthly gain of 25. That's how much physics research I'm going to get. While I'm researching or while I'm surveying planets, I will get 1/3 of that in my stored setting every time I'm doing a planet, and that will go across all 3. So at the very beginning of the game, if you've got a large swath of different areas that you can research, this can boost and produce huge amounts of research for you. The problem is if you do it too late and you're playing an aggressive opponent, or you're playing aggressive race or empire, it actually can hinder you because you're not going to have the availability to do anything outside of the space that you own. Where this is really powerful is that if you can do this as a xenophile, where everybody loves you and has open borders with you, 2 different surveying ships, because they stack, I've tried it, this can be huge. But that being said, expansion has to be your #1 pick. It almost always is. Unless you're in a bizarre spot where you want to build a federation right off the bat, the very first pick that you're going to get is gives you, each colony starts off with an additional pop, which is massive. And then, of course, your capital buildings produced 1 unity. It just seems that all of these options are really interesting for the mid-game, but expansion seems to me that the #1 you take, only to a close second maybe for discovery, depending on how you've decided to build your empire. Now where we are right now is my entire empire seems unbelievably happy. So and I also have discovered, I mean, I'm so late in the game, we're getting to the point of late game, so there's not a lot here that really appeals to me, except for the very end of the tech tree with which is a research speed of plus 10%, which is fine. But what I'd like to do is start preparing for the endgame crisis or the awakened empire. That's where we're at right now. So to do that, the very first choice for prosperity will be reduce ship costs at 15%, and then upkeep by 10%, building upkeep by 10%. This is really based strongly on your economy. And then of course the very last one being the pursuit of profit, which means that your energy grid and nexus now produce a unity each. So we are going to, I mean, I guess you could pick that one early with reduced mining costs at 33%. Still, man, that expansion. I get the funny feeling that I'm playing this, if you're watching this at a later time, since the pre-launch, statistics might change, because I get the funny feeling that Paradox is going to do a once-over on this and fine-tune some of these, because I just don't see too many spots very early game that you wouldn't pick expansion as your first unity tree. Okay. Upgrading our ships so everything's going good. Okay, perfect. So this is kind of where we're at right now. We've cleared out our entire fleet. We've got tons of money. Everything's looking good. And I think for the stands right now, what we'll probably end up doing is fine-tuning our economy just a little bit. And I want that unity. I'm really trying to push towards maximizing our unity. Really want that. I want to be able to utilize that and really push this. Planets are getting awfully full. It's good to see. Good to see. Though we definitely have a unhappy faction. What do we got? Oh, Defense Readiness Organization. You want stalwart defenses, minimal diplomacy, refuge restrictions. Nope, not listening to you. That is not the RMP Republic way. Okay, everybody, so what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to fast forward a little bit until either the next major event, pardon me again, and try to either build up on our unity so that we can kind of unlock this next ascension perk so we can get our Army P ascension. I'm going to build up our fleet so that we're to the point where we don't have to worry about any type of potential awakened empire like you, Mr. Keeper of Knowledge. God, you're hideous. And I think that's what we're going to go with. So rate it stands right now, we're at 2345. Recap on the entire episode. We were able to show you the Enigmatic Fortress, some of the cool goodies you're going to get. and how awesome it is to be living under full citizenship under the Army P Republic. Again, we're going to fast forward, I think, until the next major event, and that'll be our episode 15. So this has been Army P. Thanks a lot for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.